My name is Rachel, and I am the owner of Heavy Leather NYC. We make guitar straps and other leather goods, and this is Antihero Magazine.
Let's talk about a little bit about your business and how you got started making leather straps for guitars and basses.
Cool. Well, I started in 2008. I've been doing leather work for a long time, and that's I guess the official start date of my business. And I was just hanging around a lot of heavy metal folks, and I listen to metal, and my friends asked me to make them straps, and I made one custom strap, and then I made a few more, and ended up selling the whole lot of them on eBay in one sale. So I figured I'd go forward from there. And I was unemployed at the time. So it seemed like a good idea.
So there was a little bit of necessity behind the passion.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't play guitar. At the time I was playing drums. But I love guitar, and I've made stick bags and accessories for drums as well.
So you come from a musical background into an industry that's strong with good quality products. What kind of separates your product away from everybody else that's on the market right now?
Well, there's a huge market filled with cheap straps. And my business started off with just custom leather work. And so, each piece that I made, I went into detail with the artist about what their needs were, and styling and all of that. And so I just have a lot of direct customer experience with knowing, what people like. And so I believe that my straps, I use really high quality leathers, and I pay attention to every detail. And I also make everything in the USA, which is really important to me.
And you guys have teamed up, and your straps have been worn by tons of legendary musicians. Give me a little bit of insight about some of the musicians you worked with and how that actually happened with those connections.
Yeah, well, I've never paid a company to reach out to musicians for me. I mean, this is all just footwork, basically. Yeah, I've made straps for Prince, and most recently Justin Timberlake, and he plays acoustic guitar. And then a ton of metal guys, including Black Sabbath and Lemmy from Motorhead, wore all of the straps. And basically, it's through friends in the industry, or just making my way to the artist. Like, for example, when the first day or night that I met Lemmy, it was back around, I believe, 2009 or so, and it was the Heaven and Hell. I think it's the Heaven and Hell tour. It was what was it? It was Motorhead, Testament, Judas Priest, and Heaven and Hell, and or it's the Metal Masters tour. Excuse me, Metal Masters tour, and I was making straps for Testament. And I knew that Motorhead would be playing, and there was no way I was going to show up to a Motorhead show without a strap for Lem, because I love him. And I was back. I had backstage passes through Testament, and I was back there and holding the strap. And I left halfway through their show and just stood in front of his dressing room and ended up meeting his tour manager. And we shot the shit. And I told him I had this item for Lem, and he's like, well, I'll walk you back there and you can meet him and give it to him. And I walked in afterwards, and I walk up to him, and I'm completely speechless, like stuttering my words, and I'm just like, here, I have this thing for you. I made this thing. And Lem just looks at me, and he's like, sit down, love. Let me make you a Jack and Coke. And so you do what Lem says. And I sat down, and we ended up talking through many, many Jack and Cokes, and just kept in touch for, the last 10 years or so.
And I'm sure the passing of Lemmy had a really big impact on your life as well.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up being my mentor. He really was the first huge star that wore my stuff, and we worked really closely together um, on his straps, and he also gave me business advice and yeah, and so to lose someone like that, he's just such a powerful force in music, and just his energy was really intense and awesome. And so, you know, but I'm so grateful that I knew him, you know.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah. But it's all good. Business goes on, life goes on, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, like, as a small business owner, that is a massive step in the right direction. Like, how did you even work up the courage to be like, hey, I got this for you? And approach these, these bigger acts in the business when you were kind of just still kind of starting off.
Well, I guess I just have had a lifetime of experience of sneaking backstage. That was a thing that I just used to do. I would get dressed up and try to meet the bands, and not in like a serious groupie way, but more like I just wanted to party. And so I really don't get starstruck too often. I was pretty starstruck with Lem when I first met him, and really the only other time I've ever been real nervous was to meet Prince. My palms got sweaty. um, but yeah, no, I have a ton of stories like that where I have a longer story where I went to Sweden Rocks Festival, and I barely even had tickets to that, and I went by myself, and I dug a hole through the fence backstage, and I like crawled under it.
Oh God.
Just to get back there and meet everyone, and I ended up getting backstage passes for that. So
That's awesome. It goes to show the tenacity that you have as not just a person, but as a small business owner. You're kind of willing to do whatever you have to do to get the job done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's business, but it's also pleasure because I love the bands that I make straps for. So it's a lifestyle also.
Yeah.
I'm like fully integrated into it. I love all types of music too. It's not, I have a lot of my stuff on the heavy metal guys and the rock and roll guys and gals, but it goes a lot deeper than that.
I mean, but that's what probably makes the job a little bit better because it's not just a job, it's combining two of your passions with, creating something that people can get great usage out of, but it's also combining your love of music as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than making a product that people want and buy, but also that you get to see that have a life of its own after you can after it's sold. You see it on stage, and you see people feeling good with it and making music with it, and that's even just adds so much more
Oh yeah.
satisfaction.
Do you
Yeah.
do you ever see any pictures of the artist wearing your straps and you're like, "Hey, I did that."
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, let me think. There's been a few. There's sometimes I see artists and I don't know that they've purchased it from me. So I've actually gotten a couple through eBay where I noticed their email on the back end, and I actively pursue, like, look for those photos. So but yeah, that's always a pleasant surprise. I like it when my artists reach out to me, and I always encourage those customers that buy the straps to send photos because I love to promote them.
Oh yeah,
promote their
totally.
bands. Yeah.
It's a nice kind of cross promotion type thing. You're promoting their band at the same time you're kind of promoting your brand.
Yeah, and they don't have to be, huge artists. I just love promoting everyone. I'm so grateful that I have them as customers, and they like what I'm doing, support it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you just recently introduced to the vegan friendly collection straps for Geezer Butler and Doyle from the Misfits. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about what vegan friendly leather is, because I am completely clueless on that aspect, and I'm sure there's others that are as well.
Yeah, so this is I just came out with the second versions of both of their straps. We started a couple years ago. I started with both of those artists. Both Geezer and Doyle I had been making their custom tour straps, so they were one-off straps. And then I approached them to do a signature line, and so now I'm coming out with the second version of that that's a little more price affordable to broader range of people. And basically what it is, it's just non-leather. It's made of vinyl and padding, and some people, I mean, the vinyl's a lower price point, which is nice, but also there are people who do not want to wear leather, and I respect that. And they both, Doyle is a hardcore advocate of the vegan lifestyle, and Geezer's a little bit more muted on it, but that's yeah, but it's still rock and roll, and and it's still super super high quality. It's the same quality you'd get from any of the other straps that I sell. So because there is a lot of really shitty non-leather straps out there, and I would like to separate myself from that.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean that's what would make people start coming to you a lot more is if you kind of put yourself away from all of those shitty type cheap straps that people overpay for.
Yeah, yeah, and this line of the, I call it the vegan, but it's really just vinyl. It's really it's affordable. I think a lot of people come to the website and they see some of the higher price straps, and they might get scared away. So I wanted to be more inclusive, especially for those new players. I want to get the younger crowd. I want to support, young guitar players.
Yeah,
So.
totally. I mean that's how you kind of keep your business going into the next level too. You got to attract some of the younger people that are the rising musicians and the future of the music industry themselves.
Yeah, yeah. There's a chick that I recently got strapped. She has a leather strap, but her name is Melanie Faye, and she's just a mean guitar player, and she's young. I think she's somewhere between 15, 17,
Oh
and
wow.
she just kills it. And so it makes me so happy to be able to support people like that.
Oh, absolutely. And as of
Yeah.
right now, are you doing all of the work yourself?
No, no, I do all the custom work, and I make a lot of the guitar straps. A lot of the other products, camera straps, and a couple of straps from the line. I work with some leather artisans in Los Angeles, um, but they're in a separate studio. Back in New York, I had a team of people working with me, and we did all the production in house. But the move to LA changed it up a little bit.
And do you
So.
still have a lot of the creative control that goes in the product as a whole?
Yeah, yeah. Some straps I completely design from, if a customer wants a strap and they just bought a new guitar, they don't know what they want, I will design something from scratch. And sometimes the customers come to me and they have ideas, and they'll send me inspiration, and I'll work with them according to what they want.
Now, the biggest and most important question that I have for you throughout this whole interview, if you could pull, the same thing on another big musician like you did with Lemmy, who would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think because, like, some of my bigger artists, like I would have to say Black Sabbath, but I have them strapped already, and I could go with like Zepp or some other bigger bands from back in the day, but I'm going to have to think about that question because I'd like to get the newer artists,
Yeah.
I don't want my artists to just be old guys. So I would say a new female artist, someone rising, and I have to find her. I have so many men strapped.
Hey, you never know. She might find you after this interview.
Yes, I hope so. I got to get the ladies.
Hey, you never know. Maybe you reach out to Lizzie Hale and maybe see if that might happen.
I have Lizzie strapped.
Oh, really? What?
I have that whole band strapped. Yeah, she's got a few of my custom straps.
And like that leads me to my next question. When you first started this whole thing, did you think that it would ever get to the point where it's at right now?
Yeah, I still aspire for the business to be a lot bigger. I don't think when I first started, it was just 1 + 1 = 2, and I was not looking to do mass production or anything like that. But now, yeah. So I didn't really have a plan. But now I'm trying to put a plan in place to because I would love to grow this business. And there's just so many musicians out there, and I'd love to get my gear on. So.
And you brought up mass production, and
Yeah.
if business continues to pick up and people are starting to demand it more, are you going to kind of follow the lines of kind of working your way into mass production, or do you want to still keep it as hands-on as possible?
Oh, it will definitely be hands-on. I mean, that is the core of my business, and I have worked for larger companies. I at one point was the head of all leather design for Harley Davidson, and let me just tell you, I never want my product to be like that. I have really strong feelings about the fact that I am killing animals, and that I have a sense of responsibility towards not only animals and the environment and to the people who make the product, but also just to keep the product like top quality. And I don't ever want there to be a day where a strap does not go through my hands before it goes out to the customer. So that is extremely important to me. So I would like to have greater reach, but yeah, the product will always remain top quality.
I mean, that's a fantastic way to look at it. It gives you overall control of your business, but it also keeps that personable touch that made you who you are at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I like to be close. The people that I'm working with now who are helping me out with my production, they're right down the street, and keeping it made in the USA. It's this is where I'm from, so yeah. It's very important to me.
Now, where can people kind of go to look at your straps, and is there social media sites that they can kind of follow your work on?
Yes, I am on Instagram. It's at Heavy Leather NYC, and always NYC because that's where I started. And I mostly post to Instagram, and then it just kind of overflows to Facebook. But I do have Facebook, and that's also Heavy Leather NYC. And the website is just heavyleathernyc.com.
And that's pretty much everything that I got for you. Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you would like to add?
I think That's just about it. If y'all sign up for the mailing list, there's special deals and discounts, and you get to know when the newest products come out. And there will be a lot of new stuff coming out this year. So, yeah, I've got a few new signature straps in the works with much larger artists, which I can't talk about yet. So, but I know that your fans are going to be, and your readers are going to be interested in these. So
I'm interested. I want to know.
Yeah, off the record.